Welcome to Rock Roll Medicine. I'm here with Alex from Violent Breed. How you doing today, Alex?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Not bad, not bad. So I know we were talking about a little bit before. Where are you located at?
I'm about an hour away from London. The nearest city to me would be Winchester, but I live in a very small town called Basingstoke, which nobody knows of. But I just tell people an hour away from London, which just makes a lot more sense to people.
Okay, that's very interesting. Seeing how you're in Violent Breed and you're with you hooked up with Brian Wheat from
hmm
Tesla. How did that all come about?
Well, I've known Brian as a friend for about, I'd say, 8 to 9 years now. And when I graduated school over here, I started doing music, and this group I knew and a mutual friend were working with Brian. And it just came across that I eventually met Brian in person, and he came on board to kind of be a mentor and producer in this other project I was in. And just kind of time's gone by, and things happen, and COVID hit. It kind of put a bit of a spanner in the works of what I was doing. So kind of started at the beginning and started writing these songs, and always stayed in contact with Brian with technology like we're using today, because it's so efficient in making music now, like just on Zoom and FaceTime. That's how we make this band work, and we write our songs like that across that technology. And just from there, I was showing him my ideas, and he was like, I want to be involved. I was like, hell yeah, like, let's do this. And I think for me, it's such a privilege to be involved in a project with someone like Brian, with his influence and experience. So it's kind of like a pinch me on dreaming sort of moment. So it's really cool. And even though there's like a different in our ages and stuff, most importantly, we're great friends. He's been like a good father figure to me, and especially a mentor in music. And we have the same influences and inspirations. So when it comes down to those moments where, like, for instance, I was in Italy and we had a spare moment with an acoustic guitar in his home over there, and we just hammered out 4 or 5 songs because we're just on the same wavelength. And that's kind of how we don't need to see each other often or be in constant contact to make this work. If that makes sense. It's quite
Right.
unique, but it really works. And I think from the song that we released, I think people can kind of, I guess, see that and how it's working.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I I was listening to it and it sounds really good. It's
Yeah.
it's got a little, I won't say flair, but it does got a little flair in a
Mm.
way. Uh, and and just the way the performance is and everything like that. And I think you've got something there for sure. Is there plan for more to be released and more?
Yeah, I mean, we've been kind of silently working on this in the background for about 3 years. So there's like a hard drive and a collection of like demos and finished songs that we've just been working uh, towards. And now we've put out the first one. It's kind of like we've got all the stuff ready to go for another one, because we shot all the music videos in my town. And he also filmed himself with Dave Rude, who's played guitars, obviously from
Yeah.
Tesla, and he's an incredible musician and also a wonderful man. Really privileged to have him on board as well. And yes, we've got like a catalogue of songs kind of ready to go, where we're just like, okay, Awake's gone, let's work it, let's get it out there as much as we can, and then we've got other stuff to kind of follow it up. And when that will be, I'm not sure, but I think when we need to hit that launch button, we're ready to go. So it's quite, and again, another cool position to be in. You've got all the hard work done, rather than
Yeah,
putting out a
yeah, for
song and
sure.
then sitting on your hands for ages thinking, oh god, we've got to write another song or we've got to shoot another video. We've done everything, so it's cool.
So how'd you come up with the name?
There's no magical story, or like it wasn't written in the stars. It's literally for a long time, when I've connected with Brian and stuff. I don't know why, and when the project kind of was discussed, we always liked the word violet. I don't know why, it just sounded cool. It's always a color I've liked and just kind of associated with, and we were just trying out like violet leaf or violet cut, whatever. And then all of a sudden, Brian just went violet breed, and I was like, oh, that's it. It just resonated with what the music is to me, like this kind of, it's hard to kind of put a finger point on Violet Brew, but like the more people I speak to and what they kind of come back, it's kind of like it's very straight up, honest, in your face. Like there's not too much like
Yes.
flamboyancy or flair, but it's just to the point. And I think that's what me and Brian wanted, is to something that's like direct. Okay, this is the chorus, like it's hit you. This is the verse. It's very just, that's kind of like what we wanted. And I think the name Violet Breed just really matched up with that kind of style. I think that kind of grungy alternative rock sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So what's your music background then as well?
So I've been in a few bands, in my time, like at college, and just little like bands like that. And so currently now, so I'm not a full-time musician yet, and so I'm kind of like, even though Brian's this established rock star, which he is, and for me to be under his wing in this band, I'm kind of like really working to hopefully one day ever get to that sort of level. But I basically play once, twice a week, or even 3 times a week around different clubs, bars, and you name it. And I take my acoustic guitar out on the road, and kind of old school, really, like getting on the road and just playing. I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
many people really, youngsters, do that. They rely quite heavily on like things like TikTok and Instagram Reels. Like
Right, right,
I'm a
right.
believer like of getting out there, and Brian's really honed that into me. So I am like a full-time musician in that sense, where I go out and make a living from it. But this is now an opportunity to kind of a platform to maybe take it further. And we've only done
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one song, but it's so far like the reaction's been really cool. I'm really pleased.
Awesome. So when you go out to the clubs and whatnot, how's the reaction there?
It's really cool because obviously I only play in the UK, and um the reaction, because I do quite a lot of covers, so I'm doing stuff like Queen, T-Rex,
Right.
Fleetwood Mac, and I think the way how I sing is quite unique, I guess, in some way. So people do respond in quite a, oh wow, like this guy can sing sort of thing, and it's kind of refreshing for me because it's just me and my acoustic. And again, that's one
Right.
thing that Brian's taught me, is like a good song or a good performer is someone who can just play and just deliver it. You don't need like all the technology, all the synths. It's like it's very organic, and again, that really relates to what
Yes.
Violet Breed is. It's this organic thing. Like we are a straight up, honest band, but we're going to hit you hard with how we perform and how we sound.
Yeah, it's very raw when you're doing that, and
I love that.
like
That's what I love. Raw. Like I'm
you said,
really
it
into that.
organic, and
Hmm.
you know, they're gonna see your flaws. They're not gonna see, whatever it is. But
Yeah,
flaws are good. You
yeah. I
know what I
think it's
mean?
honest. Like it's I find a lot of things quite mechanical these days, like and
Hmm.
that's fair. Like it works and it's very popular, but from my perspective, and for maybe me as an artist, like again, like you said, like I do have flaws. I'm not perfect. Like it's like I said, at the minute it is just me and a guitar, and then I'm writing these songs with Brian, and we're putting them out as a band. Like it's just honest, and I think that's what we want people to kind of relate to, is like we're just an honest band who just want to write great songs.
Right. So, I know you touched on a few that you've played with Queen or Fleetwood Mac. Are those your influences, and who are your other influences?
Yeah, so collectively, I think as the band Violet Breed, me and Brian, we love My Chemical Romance, Foo Fighters, Zeppelin, Queen. But for me individually, oh, and McCartney, obviously, that's our like me and
Yeah,
him. Yeah,
I was gonna say you better mention the Beatles,
yeah,
otherwise
because
he's gonna have you.
yeah, like the Hoffner reference. But that was how our friendship sparked, because when we first met, I can't remember where it was, but I had a Revolver t-shirt on. He was like, "Who's this kid wearing a Beatles t?" I was like, and it was me, and it just really sparked up the friendship from there. So when he comes and visits, we're driving around the English countryside. It sounds very traditional, but we're blasting out like Band on the Run and Wings, and
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is a massive thing for us as well. But for me individually, as a person, definitely Queen. I'm obsessed with how Freddie Mercury's can sing and his performance. I
yeah,
mean, the showmanship is phenomenal. And then in terms of that sort of rawness and that honesty, because obviously during COVID, when things all went wrong and there was a lot of isolation and you were completely on your own, that's where I kind of developed this kind of act of, I'm going to go out with my acoustic and play. So I was really into an artist called Jeff Buckley, from his early performances of him playing with just
okay,
his acoustic in cafes and bars, and that really inspired me, thinking, wow, like his album Grace is obviously this, you know, in-depth, romantic, poetic thing, and it's amazing, and sonically it's awesome. But underneath it all, he started out just playing in clubs and bars with a guitar, and that's how people fell in love.
Right.
So that's a huge inspiration for me to kind of get the confidence to, I guess, take the dive and kind of go for it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of guts. I mean, it really does, for sure. So, um, I was gonna say, you guys obviously haven't played any club dates
No,
or anything like
I think
that.
I think at the moment, because of the differences and stuff, I think we just want to kind of keep putting out music, and if there's a call for it, who knows? You know what I mean? Like, you never say never, but
Right.
we just want to kind of build a profile up, because I think that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
people want to hear more of you before they investigate. I would
Well,
anyway.
I have a feeling, and this is just me throwing that out to the wind,
Oh,
that
your
you're
cat's
gonna
in the
probably
background.
be, yeah, they're
Yeah, I
gonna
love
like
that.
probably start the minute I start talking.
Yeah, that's so cool. My little cat's just in the next room as well. That's really sweet.
And so I was gonna say I could see you playing on like um the Monsters of Rock cruise, or one of them cruises, just to get your feet wet, I guess you'd
Mm.
say. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um
Yeah,
and
someone
that's
asked.
just me thrown out to the wind, but
Yeah, someone asked the other day, like, who it is. Not that we're anywhere near this stage, but who it is you would like to support. And I was like, I could see us opening for bands like there's a band called the Struts. I think we would do quite well.
yeah.
Do you
Uh-huh.
know what I mean, like that sort of thing? Like they have that English thing going on, and
Yeah.
but yeah, that, like I said, like I think we're just really focused on. It's been one song, and the reaction's been really positive, and I'm really pleased with, like, I guess, people accepting it, because it's kind of daunting for me sometimes to think, God, I'm in this band with this guy who's sold all these records and this phenomenal band Tessa that are just incredible. And so it's like the acceptance has been really positive and cool. And it's like, well, let's build upon that now. And I think just enjoy the ride. Like whatever will be, will be. But I think we're really proud just to be putting out the music we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. So when's the next one come out?
Not a single clue just yet. I reckon could be the end of this year, or could be the start of next year. I have no idea. But what's important is that there's stuff there ready to go when we need it to, which is
Yeah, I was gonna say
great.
this the first track was released about a month ago or so, right?
Yeah, it was a week ago on Friday, so I think we're coming up to about 12, 13 days now. And the
Okay,
numbers, like
I
Friday the
don't know why I was
13th
thinking
came out.
longer.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's something like it feels longer because obviously for me, like being busy doing loads of bits and bobs and working a full-time job around it, it's been such a whirlwind. But and it's been an incredible experience to see the song. Every day it's growing. So like I think we've
Yeah, yeah,
just got over 32,000 on YouTube now, which is awesome.
yeah, yeah.
And I think it's going to be hitting 15,000 on Spotify. So it makes you think, well, we've done that in about 10 days. Where could it go? And then if the next one comes out, but again, just got to stay grounded and enjoy it and let people enjoy the
Well,
music.
this is all pretty much word of mouth too. It's not like
Yeah.
you know, um, there was a big, obviously no big release.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, that's what's
I
been
didn't even know that he was doing this, and then I got, hey, there's a press release, and I'm like, what?
yeah,
I
that's
said,
cool.
well,
I like that. That
yeah,
is
because
cool.
only because, and it surprised me because I listened to an interview he did with Tesla, them talking about not doing too much more new music, right?
Hmm.
And then and then you come out and there's new music, and I'm like, well, that kind
Yeah,
of strange.
in terms of what he does with Tesla and how they run, I have no idea. I'm not on that ship, but like
Right,
I think because he's such a creative person himself, he loves making music and he's so talented at doing it. So
right.
I think it's just another, artists like to release music. So it's another release for him, and for me to be asked to go co-pilot with him or be involved with it. It's really cool. So it's like
So are you guys using like a Pro Tools type of thing,
yeah. So we
where
use.
you can send everything over and he can send
Hmm.
it over?
Yeah, so like I've got a microphone, Pro Tools, and then there's this thing called I can't remember the app's name, but basically I can do stuff, send it over. he can send it over. Then when
like
he
a
goes on,
Dropbox or something.
then when he goes on tour with Tessa, Dave like have a little setup, like a little rig, and then he might come here or we go to Italy. Like it's really cool. It's just easy, and you could never
So
do that 10 years ago.
no, not even close. I
No,
think the one good thing that the pandemic did was
connect people.
being able to do this right here,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Um, and you being able to connect with other bandmates and send things over and make it a lot
Yeah,
easier.
yeah,
Because I wouldn't even have thought of something like this, you know,
yeah.
before.
It's
I
very
always thought it
unique.
had to be in studio, you
No,
know.
it's very unique, and it is very cool. Like I said, it's amazing what technology can do now. Like I'm just like right now, I'm on my laptop in my living room, with our cats in the room with us, and
Right, right.
we're talking music. So it's really cool. I love your posters behind you as well. I can't quite work out who they
Thank
are,
you.
but they
Well, I actually took these pictures. I
oh,
do
they look
full I
awesome.
concert. That's Carrie King up on
Okay,
the left, that right there, and
yeah.
then that's Godsmack on the other.
Oh wow, that's cool. They look great.
So thank you. I got a bunch more. I haven't been able to put them up yet. So
Yeah,
I got a bunch of other honeydews I got to take care of before I
yeah. No, I
take care of my
understand.
stuff. So you have Brian, you have Dave Rude, yourself. Who else is in the band
Well, at
or
the
playing? I
band,
guess.
yeah, the band is like me and Brian, and then Dave features on guitar in and out. Brian and Dave do what they need to do. Then drummer was one of Brian's. I think it's a guy from Soul Motor, a guy called Derek. He played the drums, and then there's another
Okay,
guy who's done some drums. So it's just whoever Brian wants to play on the band stuff. So he drafts in who he thinks is going to be cool.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So, are you playing guitar as well?
I play very minimal basic guitar, like acoustic, and maybe some light rhythms because I can't keep up with Dave. I'll let my voice do. I'll do the singing.
Right.
I'll let Dave add all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
flamboyancy and stuff because he's just insane.
Awesome. What else you got in the works? I know you said you went to school. So what did you go to school for?
Um, so the English schools are quite different here. So we have
Yes.
primary, which is I think primary is a bit of a mixture of like kindergarten. That's what that is. Secondary school here is high school, and then college isn't what college is in the US. College is like high school but a bit advanced.
University.
Yeah, and then you go to university after that. So when I went to college, I played guitar, knew I could sing, but then I remember my parents at Christmas got me a copy of The Beat Was Red and Blue, and I remember listening to it on Christmas Day, and I fell in love with the track Fall on the Hill, and I was like, whoa, like who's this McCartney guy? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you know who the Beatles are
Right.
and stuff, but when you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
go into depth of it, so then my parents were like, well, why don't you go do a open course at school? And I was like, okay. So I joined this music course and played in college bands, formed a band, and we had some great times and great success, for what we were. And yeah, it just kind of started from there. Like, I've never been the best guitarist. My voice over the last 2 to 3 years is what developed really well and become what it is now. But I've got a confidence and I guess a style which I think only I can do, which kind of makes me unique, I guess, and different to other people. So
Yeah,
that's
for
kind of where it all
sure.
stemmed from.
Yeah, it's nice to have your parents back you up as well.
Hmm.
Kind of push you a little bit.
Yeah, my mum
Because
was a
most
singer.
say stay away.
Yeah, no, my mum was a singer, and she still performs now. And like in England, they're like called amateur dramatic
Okay.
societies, like shows. So like she's grown up with things like Stephen Sondheim, with like Sweeney Todd, and so really complex
Yeah,
music
yeah.
pieces. And her voice is, she's like classically trained. So when I used to hear her sing, that was kind of my involvement in singing in that sort of theatrical way. And then all of a sudden, I discovered rock and roll. Then I was like, oh wow, like
Right.
yeah, and then kind of changed my whole perspective on how to sing and crafted what it is that I have now. So
Yeah, I'm sure she could teach you breathing techniques and this
yeah,
and
it's all in
that,
the
right?
diaphragm. That's all they like, the diaphragm. No nasals, keep the palate up. They're all like the techniques that I learned quite early on. So then when it comes to singing like the rock voice, if that, like, so I don't think I have a typical rock voice, but that's when you sing that style of genre. I think the biggest mistake that I first made was like, okay, I want to be like Rod Stewart. I'm gonna like scream the hell out, but my voice doesn't work like that, you know. So then I think, right, okay, I've got to start again, because when I first started singing in bands, I'd do like a half an hour set. My voice would be fried because you're fighting over all your band members turning to 11 like Spinal Tap, and the sound engineer
Yes.
and the wedges are blowing up in your face, sort of thing. So it took me a while to kind of develop what it is, like the breathing, the techniques, and now I can sing comfortably for about 2.5 hours. When I do one of my shows at these bars and clubs and stuff, because that's what they demand. They book you and they say, right, you're on at 8, you finish at 11, play the hits, keep the customers,
Okay.
keep them happy, and then I get paid, and then it finances, my house and the music.
Right.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it sounds really old school and really like work ethic.
Well, you're
but
playing
I
a
love it.
full gig. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean that's a long time. I know my brother and one of my uncles play in a cover band as well, and they do, I think, 2 hours or so.
Yeah.
And
The-
it's easy for my brother. He plays guitar,
yeah.
but my
Singing.
uncle's the one that sings.
Yeah. Are
So,
you a guitarist as well?
no, I used to be a drummer.
Drummer? Because what
So
I've discovered, like,
yeah.
because I'm on my own doing these shows. So in England, we've got a lot of pubs. That's kind of where I like do a pub tour. Like Friday, Saturday out on the pubs and stuff, and have a rest, and then. But I've got this acoustic. Sounds amazing, but over time the neck is so wide that my thumb is starting to go because I'm playing for like an hour and a half, 2 hours consistently, and it's not normal to rock out on an acoustic
Right.
for so long. But I take my electric to swap it up sometimes just to give my thumb a rest. But in terms of the voice, like that's where I think I've really matured. It's like I can go on at 8, and by the time I finish at 11, my voice is like pumping. Then I cool it down with maybe like a ginger tea and honey. So like it's just
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, they're the things that you have to learn, and I don't think you can learn by just posting short videos. And I think you do have to go out. There's a sense that you have to get in your car, put the back seats down, take your PA, take your guitar, and you just got to go and sing, because that's how all the greats done it. That's my opinion.
Well, and you have to take care of it. I think a lot of people forget they need to take care of their voice as well. And so you'll see a lot of the older guys from the 80s, right, blowing out their voices because they were playing a lot and singing a lot, and drinking and smoking and all that hurts that as well. I'm not saying that's the only factor, but
I'm not a smoker or a big drinker, so that all goes in my favor. And it's really interesting you say that, because a lot of singers, they call it nodules, isn't it? They get them in the throat that restrict your vocal cords. And there's this documentary on Disney Plus, which is really interesting, about Bon Jovi and his fight to get his voice back. Have you seen it?
Yeah. I watched it, I think on Hulu, I think it was.
Yeah.
So,
it's crazy, like the things like the lasers on the throat for the muscle relaxation, and he does it, like he gets himself up there. But I know what you're saying, like the damage that you can do on your voices.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of Bon Jovi, they were, there's only 365 days of the year, and he's touring probably 320 of those. You know
I
what
know.
I mean? So when you're going day in and day out, I mean, he's not doing that anymore. But I
don't
mean,
think anybody
back in
does that
those
anymore,
days,
really, do they? Like,
no, it's tough.
When I was with Brian in Italy, we were in the pool and we were chatting about this very thing, and I said I had no idea how many dates like bands like Tesla, Bon Jovi, and whatever like used to do. It's like, the way I see it now is like people go to a city and it's one show, but back in the day it was like, we're doing 5 in the city. That's how that doesn't happen anymore.
If it's sold out, they would do like another show, another date, and it was crazy back then. I mean, I'm showing my age, but I was a teenager in the 80s, so in the late 80s, so it was, and now I watch all these bands, and a lot of those guys who could really sing, their voices are shot. But you still have your Rob Halfords, you know.
Hmm.
Scorpions are still doing well. You know, obviously Steven Tyler's having issues right now,
Yeah,
but
again, like I see, you just see stuff on Facebook, don't you? I don't know the
right,
ins and outs, but I did see something about like the last show, or which is such a
yeah.
shame because again, what a phenomenal
Well,
singer, like and a front man.
yeah, but you look at like the Stones, right? The Rolling Stones they're still pumping out. They're touring like
Yeah,
crazy, and they sound amazing.
yeah.
You
Two
know.
interesting things because I saw the Stones before COVID on their No Filter tour, and it was amazing. They played in a city called Southampton, which is about half an hour,
Uh-huh.
35 minutes from my house, and it was insane, man. Like he was around, like dancing around and like still singing those songs. Maybe not in the original key, or they are. I couldn't tell you, but it didn't feel like I was watching people who are has-beens on
Right.
the stage. And then this December, for the first time, I've taken the plunge because obviously I need to, but I've got tickets for my first McCartney concert, so I'm really excited for
Okay.
that because he plays for 3 hours.
Oh, really?
His shows.
Wow.
Brian's, I think, seen him about, I'm gonna say over 30 times. I'm pretty sure it's that. I have to ask him, but
Well, I guess he could play for 3 hours. I mean, if you look
hmm
at the catalog,
oh
right?
yeah,
It's not just the Beatles. It's got the Wings. It's
the
got
solo,
so.
yeah.
Um. So I'm wondering. So how big is the stage? How many people does he have on there? Is it a lot? I mean,
What
I don't know.
for the
I
McCartney show?
Yeah, yeah.
He's got
Because I
his
imagine there's a piano. I
Yeah, he's got
imagine.
his band. All obviously all the top dogs. Like he's got.
Yes.
I couldn't name the individual band members, but there's a drummer, keyboardist, two guitars. He's on bass, so five. I don't
And
know.
and some backups, I'm sure.
Maybe I don't know if you see them on the stage, but I will keep. Next time we speak, if we ever do another interview, I will let you know. I'll keep an eye out on the stage.
Yeah, I'm just curious. And he's in his what? He's got to be in his 70s as well, right?
80, 83 years old.
83.
Crazy, right?
Wow. So did it sell out as well?
Yeah, I was getting the tickets while I was on my a job, doing my job, and I almost had a breakdown because I had like the pre-sale code, the special code that you like have, and I
Right.
copied and pasted it into Ticketmaster, and it thought I was a robot and kicked me out, and I just fell to the curb like that's it, like no, that's it. I'm not going to witness, Sir Paul. Kept trying, nothing, and then I tried 2 hours later and just got in, and I just got my credit card out, swipe, boom, there we go. We'll worry about it later. But I don't know what it's like in America right now, but Oasis have just reformed, and there was a massive
Yeah, I heard that.
Ticketmaster. Yeah, like I don't know how many people apply for tickets, but the site that you get them, you have Ticketmaster in the US, I'm presuming.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it cracked. Like I think there was a queue of about 400,000 people on the site,
Wow. That's
and
crazy. And well, they're not even doing dates till what, next year
next summer.
sometime.
So I don't know the facts, but I think they were doing like at least four stadium dates in like most cities in the UK. So London, Manchester, Ireland, Scotland, and there was such a huge demand, they've doubled it. And then when they
Wow.
released the tickets to double it, people still couldn't get tickets. So like the queues
Jeez.
on Ticketmaster were like 200. My friend, when it was coming out, I was getting all these text messages from my friends saying, "Do you want to see Oasis?" Like, I'll go, but we ain't gonna go because the whole country and Europe and maybe even America as well is all applying right now for these tickets. It was
Oh,
unbelievable.
I'm sure that if they can make it through those dates without kicking each other's ass,
I know.
then they'll probably try and bring it over to the States, I'm sure.
Yeah, again, like you see stuff on social media, like Oasis announced North American tour, like dates coming soon. So I don't know what the demand would be like in America. I don't know how they translate over there, but here,
Well, I
you,
know they're fairly popular. I
hmm
don't know if they're as popular
yeah, as here, no,
as they are, yeah,
maybe
because
arenas are
they're
not
the
stadium.
hometown boys, right? So
Yeah, that what's I always compare it to people like the song Wonderwall is kind of like the song in America, like Closing Time. It's the same sort of,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's the last song that you have if you're on a night out when you were young with your
Right.
friends. It's like they're like that they have that sort of like power here. It's really cool.
Awesome. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
good luck. I know I've taken much of your time.
No, it's been great
I'd
just
like to. Cool. When the next single comes out, I like to, hook up and we'll do it again
absolutely, yeah.
and
I get Shauna to
see how
message
things
you.
have progressed. For sure.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I really appreciate you, having me in this evening and asking. It's been really cool because we've just been chatting about music, which is what we
Yeah.
both
Yeah.
love. So it's been wicked. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Alex,
Thank you
and
very much. You have a
I
good
hope
afternoon.
this thing just takes off
Yeah, it'd
for
be
you.
wonderful if it did. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Where did it know?